Warning, this podcast was produced by two men who still think that swearing is both big and clever. As a result, it contains quite a lot of it. Therefore, this podcast is not suitable for children, unless they're really fucking cool children. Hey guys, it's Dave Fensom here with another episode of Pop Collaborate and Listen. Thank you so much for everyone who got in touch about the Krister episode last week. I think we were doing some of our finest work on social media. Our meme game was strong, and by our meme game I mean our terrible fucking stuff that we put out on social media. If you're not following us, take a look. I can only apologise. On the subject of apologies, Krister wants to extend his apology for this episode. He had a bit of a cold. You can hear it quite a bit on the recording. So if you think that Krister sounds weird and you're used to him being from Northern Ireland, then that's the reason why he's weird this week. Okay, what else has been going on in life? I've just spent the last 2 days emptying the garage at the bottom of my garden. It was a fucking nightmare. I swear to God, it was one of the worst things I've ever done. But that means that we do now have space where we're going to build a podcast studio, so we might be able to get the sound quality better. That's fun. As always, this podcast is brought to you by On the Edge Comedy. On the Edge Comedy is the best new act, new material night in Brighton, taking place on the first and third Fridays of every month at the Caroline of Brunswick pub. You can find us on Facebook, On the Edge Comedy. Tickets are available from We Got Tickets and Skiddle and some of the other vendors as well, I believe. This week we have Ben Pope headlining. I love Ben Pope. He's been gigging with us for years. He's a fucking great act. Really enjoy him. If you're in the Brighton area, come down and check us out. What else can I tell you? So this week we're talking about the Farms album, Spartacus. You can hear what we had to say about it going in there. But it's certainly another interesting episode, let's put it that way. So guys, with no further ado, I'm going to crack on. Take care, enjoy the episode, see you next week. Hey, welcome to episode 7 of season 2 of Pop Collaborate and Listen. I'm Dave Fensom.
I'm Krister Greer.
Here with Waffles the dog.
All right, Waffles, mate.
You all right, mate?
He's chilling right behind you.
Chilling out, is he all right?
Yeah, he's fine.
Wonderful stuff. Guys, we're here to talk to you about the Farms album, the debut album, Spartacus.
Not actually their debut.
Oh, was it not their debut?
No, I thought it was.
Oh, they had another one before this, did they?
This is their 5th.
Are you fucking around?
Apparently so.
How?
I can't find any details about any of the others, but they're all like self-released ones. But this is the 5th. This is the first major one.
Oh, yeah, but that's like when someone releases a book on Amazon, though, isn't it?
Probably, yeah. Everyone assumes it's the debut because it was the only one that no one knew anything before, unless you lived in Liverpool.
Yeah, man. Look, they had fucking albums like We've Got a Fucking TV Show.
Right, sure.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. We've released 22 albums so far.
Exactly.
Onto the World Wide Web.
All of them full of the most wonderful, definitely not copyrighted material.
Absolutely not. Thanks for not suing us, anyone yet.
Yeah, it's going to happen. At some point, this is all going to get taken down.
Yeah, enjoy it while you can, fuckers.
I think we're covered. I think we're okay. I'm saying this for legal reasons. I think that we are legally okay, and I believe that with all my heart.
Yeah, oh, right. Yeah, I like the look in your eyes there as well. That is Steely Gaze.
Yeah, absolutely.
Steely Gaze is one of my favourite bands as well.
Yeah, they're one of my favourites.
The Steely Dan tribute band.
Steely Gaze sounds like a group of homosexual bikers.
Yeah. Well, they all look homosexual anyway.
The Steely Gaze bikers on acid.
No,
right, that's too much. Okay, so we start always with the album cover.
Right, yeah, the album cover for this is pretty silly, if you ask me.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's trying to be like a riff on washing powder box, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's almost like pop art.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's it's a pop art thing. It's that whole kind of appropriating a logo type thing. I mean, it's very cheaply done,
isn't it?
It looks like it's been done on WordPad.
Yeah, and it looks like it's been done by someone's cousin as a project in fifth form.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is. I reckon this is done on a Nimbus.
I don't even know what that is.
It was the kind of computers that we had at my school.
Oh, I see.
You could run rudimentary desktop publishing on them. The type of things where you'd go into the computer room and there'd be some of that paper that's all joined together and it's got holes down the end.
Absolutely.
And someone had done like a banner on it, and it was like
it'd
say like the computer room. It would say, or
nice
science lab, or
something futuristic.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right. Well, yeah. For whatever 91. This is March 91. Maybe this was something they thought looked kind of new and a bit, not futuristic. That's not the word, but it wasn't the classic. Here's a band album cover or anything like that.
I think it was done like with a budget of fuck all in mind.
Well, that's the thing. Because, like I say, this was apparently their fifth album release,
right?
And they formed in 1983. And they were doing stuff right throughout for a couple of different iterations of members, but always the core of Peter Hutton, the singer, and I think Keith, one of them. There was about 3 or 4 of them were always in the band,
right? And
then there was a few different bits came in and out. And for this to be their breakthrough, that's some dogged perseverance.
Yeah,
because they had a single in 1990, which was a cover of the Monkees' "Stepping Stone." And that was the first thing that got them noticed by kind of the music press in a big way, because it was produced by this guy, Terry Farley, who was a dance producer at the time. And so it crossed over into that indie dance thing, which is then obviously what this album was predicated on.
Yep.
And it just means that they had been doing stuff for years and years and years to fuck all, to absolutely no audience. And then this is their final... maybe just let's have a go, and this worked for them, and so they did this.
Yes, I mean that's a great narrative. The idea, the idea, and I think the thing that's put is jobbing band. Finds their sound. And creates, kind of a smash hit record.
Yeah,
and that is a great narrative, and I'm predisposed to like that. So I'm interested going in.
Sure, okay,
to
it's
this
a good story.
record to see where it goes.
It is a good story.
I like the story. So should we? I mean, did you have a relationship with this record at the time?
At the time, not the album, really. I absolutely knew the band because I did hear Stepping Stone whenever it was released. Someone put that on a tape for me in 1990, and I really enjoyed that, actually. I think it's a good version of it. Well, I had never heard the original song at that point, and I really liked that thing. And we're probably going to be saying the phrase indie dance a lot throughout this.
Oh, yeah.
podcast.
I had to stop myself writing it.
Yeah, indeed. But the Stepping Stone, the Terry Farley production on that is really, dead on center target of indie dance. It's got the sort of shuffling dance beat with jangly guitars, and it's a Monkey song, so it's a bit of a pop thing anyway. And so I was, in essence, interested in the farm at that point, and I remember Groovy Train coming out. I remember being a fan of that at the time, because it ticked all my boxes. I was a 15-year-old, really liking this new thing that was, very new to me anyway. I hadn't been into the dance culture stuff 3 years earlier.
Yeah.
I was getting into indie at this point, and so this was brand new to me. This melding of the two, and there was other bands doing it as well. But this Groovy Train, I remember coming out and going, "Yeah, I like this." So I knew those ones. I didn't really know the album. I have a feeling I had a copy of it in cassette and didn't really listen to it.
Yeah, I think Groovy Train was like, I'm at the point in my life that I'm recording songs that I like off the top 10. Listening to the top 10 every week, pressing play on, record on the thing, so I've got the song, listening back to it. And this is probably a song that I'd have recorded off the top 10 at the time, Groovy Train.
Right.
I probably liked that at the time.
Yeah.
And obviously I remember, All Together Now was everywhere. I remember
that was a huge hit.
Yeah. So, I remember that, but I wouldn't have thought about buying this record. I remember seeing it really striking on the shelves. It was really big, bright primary colours. It did stand out on the racking.
That is a good point. When we're talking about the artwork maybe being a bit naff or a bit simple, it did its job.
Well, as well, it was markedly different. When you think about like that Chris Rea album from last week, where it's this really old-fashioned oil painting.
Yeah.
You got that next to this, and this looks like the modern, exciting record. This looks like the something new kind of thing, much in the way that Jesus Jones album did.
Very true. We talked about that at the time, didn't we? Yeah. That it was just very different and emblematic of a new, interesting, exciting group rather than the big stalwarts of the charts at the time.
Exactly. It's big and it's colourful and it's bold, and it was speaking to youth culture of the time.
Yeah, definitely that.
So okay. Well, look, let's crack on with the first track. First track is called Hearts and Minds.
Hearts and Minds. So this is track 1.
Okay, so we're starting off with some like movie type samples.
Yep.
This is very 90s.
Oh, very much, yeah. I mean, the samples are from... let me find my note here. From Once Upon a Time in America and Taxi Driver.
Yeah.
So, again, they're trying to create a mood with that.
See, this to me sounds a bit like World in My Eyes by Depeche Mode,
I see,
but without any of the...
Okay.
When we talked about that Depeche Mode stuff, we talked about how interesting the sound design was.
Yeah. There's so much going on.
And this is this is not that.
No.
This is,
No, I see what you mean, but there is... they're going for that kind of a menacing, downtrodden, a bit somber sound, on this verse at least. When it gets to the chorus, it all changes and goes upbeat and major key.
Yeah.
But I see what you're saying, that the comparison is it's like a primary school version of Depeche Mode.
See, now this, right, the problem with me for this song is that chorus is so fucking insipid.
Oh, yeah, I think the chorus... I think it changes the whole song, and I don't like where it takes it.
No, it's... obviously, I'd say the closest thing that we've talked about on the podcast so far is like Jesus Jones.
Sure.
Obviously, it shares some DNA with that in terms of it's picking up on... kind of things in the dance music culture, moulding it with that indie sound.
Yeah.
But whereas that Jesus Jones stuff sounded urgent and vital, this doesn't to me somehow. This just sounds, I don't know, man. It seems a bit Route One. It seems everything.
It's a bit pedestrian.
Yeah, it's very pedestrian.
I think the issue with this album is that actually, let me just play a little bit, because this is a re-recording of their very, very first single.
Okay.
Right? So they released a song in 1984 called Hearts and Minds, which was... actually, this album as well is produced by Suggs and 2 of the House Martins.
None of that makes me confident.
No, but the original single was also produced by Suggs, so it seems like they've had an in with Madness forever, and they toured with the House Martins in 1987. So they've got... They're all buddies looking to produce, but the difference this time is they've got this guy Terry Farley, who's a dance producer.
Yeah.
Right? So let me play a little bit, and again, this is just on YouTube, so I'll find it on here of the original version of Hearts and Minds.
So whereas a normal producer would take risks, do you think that Terry Farley took rusks?
Oh my lord! I saw that coming like a millisecond before you said it, and I was like, oh no, please.
No. Well, you started this.
Well, okay.
As I like
so
to say.
This is the original version, right?
Well, that's better.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like an 80s song because it is 84. It sounds a little bit kind of special AKA. You've got the horns in there, a little bit of the beat, the ska thing. Maybe even a little bit Gang of Four.
Well, that sounds much better to me.
Right. And it's also, to be honest, it's a very different song. Even the lyrics are all changed. They've only really kept that Hearts and Minds bit of the chorus. So they've completely redone it for this album. But this sounds like a band who are in charge of their sound and are doing what they want. Stop this now. I just get the impression, and I think we're probably going to come back to this again over and over in this album, that the band have gone, here's what we have, here's what we do.
Yeah.
And Terry Farley, the dance producer, has gone, right, yeah, I'm going to scrap half of it and I'm going to do my thing with half of it. And it doesn't sound like this is the farm. I don't think that is the Farm's sound, what we heard on this single, right? I think that is half of their sound and half a dance producer putting his stamp on it.
Well, yeah, I mean, entirely possibly.
I don't think... and I watched a couple of live videos of the Farm back in the 90s, and one where they did Reformation 2004. And when they do their songs live, it doesn't sound necessarily like the album versions we're listening to. It sounds like more of a band. Still pretty pedestrian, if I'm honest, because the tunes are kind of staid, but it doesn't sound like the trying to be indie dance thing that this album is.
Yeah, I found very little to like in this song, Hearts and Minds.
Yeah.
I found really nothing to like in it.
Oh, see, all right, I must admit, I kind of like that intro. I kind of like the verse bit of this, where it is a little bit minor key, it's a bit foreboding, or whatever it is. I like that. I don't like the chorus. I think the chorus lets it down. I think it takes it into, here's just a standard chant-along non-tune for me, but I like the start of it.
I was confused as well as the lyrics, who are the plastic gangsters and two-bit hoods?
Who knows?
Who are
I mean, I'm assuming that's why they put in the samples from those films as well, because they're talking about, dirty politicians, drugs and prostitution. So I don't know whether it's something to do with Liverpool in 1990, whether they're railing against organised crime or something like that.
Well, I mean, the thing that... it's all a bit sixth form poetry for me.
Yes.
And that is,
absolutely.
I didn't know they'd been going for as long as they had. I presumed that this was a band in a very formative stage of...
Yeah.
But perhaps it's the influence of ecstasy.
I think I've got a couple of notes throughout this that I think this is a band who just discovered drugs and maybe had a summer in Ibiza and kind of forgot how to do everything else.
Well, and that's in step with their audience, because that's
True.
what a lot of the people who bought this record would have been doing.
Oh, absolutely.
But anyway, all right.
Well, I'm talking about lyrics, right? Because there's a few times I'm going to come back to quite bad lyrics.
Yeah.
And the one that annoyed me in this is, there are kind of bad lyrics in terms of this is just obvious and you've written this without thinking.
Yeah.
But the very first line of this, what they promised will now come true. Don't tell me, you should have knew. I mean, that's just bad grammar to make a rhyme, and you shouldn't do that.
Well, I mean, okay. Well, that brings us into whether you're whether you're writing in regional dialects.
I'm pretty sure even Scousers would know that it's you should have known.
Even Scousers,
Exactly.
Mate. Dial that back. Fucking hell, mate. Look, let's.
They've got their own patois. That's fine.
Well, says the fucking Northern Irish.
Says
man.
the Mick over here. But
the Mick. Jesus Christ.
But no, they've deliberately done incorrect grammar so that this line rhymes, and you shouldn't be allowed to do that. I have a feeling that they don't give a shit, and you're not going to change anyone's mind. But fuck off, man.
If you've not picked up on this, if you've not picked up on this before in the podcast, Krister is an fucking grammar Nazi.
I think.
And yes, I said an grammar Nazi
you
just to
dick.
fuck with you.
So that annoyed me right from the start. I don't think they needed to do that. They could have written a different line.
Well, they could have written less words, couldn't they?
Oh, fuck you. Fuck you. So hard. Oh, God.
Made me laugh. Right, okay.
Yeah, no, I
agree
think
with you.
I probably like this more than you because I liked the intro and I liked the verse. But overall, it's not a good song.
It's insipid.
Yeah.
Insipid is the word I wrote down, and it's
Fair.
what I come back to.
That's fair.
Yeah, not a lot of fun. Number
No.
2, how
Right.
long?
How long?
Oh, it's got an Eastern flavour.
Oh, always.
Okay, this is got a bigger riff to it.
Well, I suppose it's more of an actual riff rather than the feel of the last one. And I mean, another really big drum beat at the front of
Yeah.
the mix.
Yeah, I mean, I've written here, I don't think the production's dated very well in this. The way that everything, again, like where everything is put together in the mix for it.
Okay.
It's kind of jangly indie. It's got again, it recalls a little bit of that in Spiral Carpets, I
Right,
would
sure.
say.
Yeah.
It's more fun
Right.
than the last song.
Okay, yeah, well, it's absolutely more upbeat and, just kind of keeps on going.
There's a kind of a break in the middle, which is, is enjoyable enough.
Mm-hmm.
For me, this is a much better song. And lyrically, it's quite interesting because it's a song about the fall of the Berlin Wall.
Yes, it is, yeah.
So obviously that's in the process of happening.
Yeah, it started end of '89 and it's still going on
Yeah.
throughout this time period. It's coming down bit by bit, and the reunification began, 1990?
Yeah, absolutely. Really fucking good knowledge of the fall of the Berlin Wall there.
Mate, off the top of my head.
Yeah.
But I think, because it's about that, it's about hope, and it's about, how long will it take for the rest of the world to catch up, and why can't it be, why can't everyone start tearing down the walls between each other? This sort of stuff, that's the idea behind it. But I still think it's pretty facile lyrics.
Oh, and of course, I mean, it's very common of this kind of rave era where everyone's kind of, banging a pill and going, fucking, we all love each other. And it's a minute before you realise that the next day all your fucking serotonin's gone and you hate everyone, including yourself.
Right, sure.
But it's, that kind of optimism that came out of this, it's a productive thing. It's I mean, I was too young to really understand that whole thing. That for me at that point, but that's the whole thing that dance scene was important for. That kind of brief unification of youth culture.
Right, sure.
I think that did have cultural impact.
I would agree with that. Yeah, I do feel a little churlish criticising this song for some of the bad bits about it, because it's got good intentions and it's a lovely thought, and it's. Hey, everyone's wicked. Come on round. Let's have a good time and everyone be friends.
Well, I mean, I think in the grand scheme of this record, this is one of the higher points.
Oh, do you? Maybe.
Yeah,
that's
and that's a very subjective thing. And we'll move through this, right? Okay.
Yeah, just like the words, just so people can get an idea of why I'm picking up on some of the lyrics here. I've noted. I think it's the first verse. It's like ivory towers and those meaningless words recited by people like a well-known verse. We're into the 90s and the pain goes on. Listen to the people with their freedom songs. It's like, okay, yeah, it's a lovely thought. Well done for writing a song about this. But that is pure sixth form lyric.
Of course it is, mate.
Yeah, and this is it. And Peter Hutton, he's got to be close to 30, if not 30 by this point. And he's still writing these words.
Well, he's maybe written it when he's had a couple of beans.
Oh, I'm quite sure. And I think as well, because this was released on a very small label, and it's like Suggs producing, and it's Stan Collymore and Paul Heaton from the House Martins producing, right?
Stan Collymore?
Collymore.
Oh, Collymore.
Collymore, yeah. They're producing, and they probably are like, yeah, mate, you do what you want. They're not standing there like a major label producer going, this could be better, guys. You need to tweak this. They're just like, yeah, fuck it, go for it.
I'll tell you what. Years ago, when I worked for Vauxhall on the phones,
yes,
right, doing the customer service, we had Stan Collymore's mum phone up and really kick off.
Oh no!
And she was giving it the full. Do you know who I am?
Really?
Do you know who my son is?
Do you know who I am? No. Do you know who my son is? Yes.
I was like, no, I don't. I mean, I knew he was. I mean, is he the one that beat up Ulrika Johnson?
Allegedly.
I obviously didn't say that.
No.
Oh, no, I think was he not convicted for that?
I'm not sure.
I mean, I don't care. It's long ago.
Yeah, true enough.
I mean, that's not wrong. Obviously, if he did beat up Ulrika Johnson, I do.
Oh, you care, but yeah, you don't care about insulting him.
No.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, well, this is there's again.
And I doubt he's listening.
I think we'd be surprised. Wait, was he from Liverpool? Is he a Liverpool player?
I mean, well, basically, if you are...
Was he in the farm
If you're a Premiership or ex-Premiership football player and you're listening to this podcast, please let us know.
Yeah, true. Get someone else to show you how to work the internet and get in contact. I got very little else to say about that. I've got nothing else to say about it. Slightly just nonplussed with that one, I must admit.
I liked it better than the first one.
Okay, I'm the other way round.
Okay, number 3, Sweet Inspiration.
There's that dance beat again.
I mean, have all these songs got the same beats?
Almost. They really do. It's like there's a preset button that they just used.
Exactly that. Yeah. I mean, this is such cookie cutter indie that it just seems anonymous to me.
Yeah. Yeah, this is, a band. This sounds like you heard Manchester bands, and you're like, we can do that, and knock this out in an afternoon.
I mean, the vocal is stultifyingly tone deaf.
Oh, it's so out of tune in this. Like, staggeringly. Yeah.
I had absolutely no fun listening to this song at all. And it's 5.5 minutes long.
This vocal, fuck, mate, sorry, just, oh my God.
I mean, like that.
Why do you put that on an album?
Well, it's like Shaun Ryder without any of the fucking personality.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not a fan of Shaun Ryder's personality either, I must admit.
No, but he can carry a fucking Happy Monday song when he needs to.
There's something about that and the swagger he has that carries it through. Even though he can't sing a fucking note.
Oh, no.
But yeah, this doesn't seem to have anything to do. I thought this was almost like comedically out of tune.
There's a breakdown in this.
Yeah.
And I think it's about 4.5 minutes.
Right.
And it just reminds... Do you remember that song, Hey Matthew, by Karel Fialka?
Absolutely.
It kind of reminds me of that. It's like... Hang on. This bit.
Oh, that little piano bit, right? Yeah.
There you go.
Okay.
Spaceships. Lion bars. Alphabet.
Okay.
Strongmen. Moustaches.
Another classic List song. Oh.
That was a shit song, wasn't it?
I loved it at the time, mate.
Oh, so did I.
Every Top of the Pops that came on, I was like, I hope they play this
put
one.
a bit of this in the
I'll
fucking
drop it in,
podcast.
absolutely.
I see Dallas, Dynasty, Toehogs, He-Man, Tom and Jerry, Dukes of Hazzard, Arrow, Blue Thunder, Rambo, Roadrunner, Daffy Duck, the A-Team, I see the A-Team.
Real.
Mr. Fialka is still living off the royalties of that one song.
Well, I would imagine it bought him a fucking good bit of... Was he from Poland?
Not sure.
Karel Fialka spell it sounds Eastern European,
Definitely
doesn't
does.
it? And now if it's not Poland, I sound like a racist. And anyway, the point of this song is it's so fucking long. It's outstayed its welcome immediately, and it kicks about. It's the longest song on the record, isn't it?
It's stupidly long and terribly out of tune. No actual tune to it for the instrumentation. And is it about Nelson Mandela? Because
I don't know.
It's like the lyrics is every day you spend in captivity, every day you're denied your liberty, you were always searching for a better way, always searching for a brighter day. Which again, those are awful lyrics.
Oh, yeah.
That is dog shit lyrics. And I wonder if this is just, we got to write a song about someone we admire. It's like a school project. Write a song about someone you admire. Oh, Nelson Mandela, that'll do.
Write a song about issues.
Yeah, it's like Phil Collins. So this is another one. Why is this on an album? This is very, very basic and no fun at all.
There is no quality control on this record at all. This album sounds, and I appreciate that this is recorded outside of the studio system. Mm-hmm. It's recorded on an indie level. Part of that is the kind of DIY aspect, but you've got to have a quality control in that environment. And a lot of this stuff sounds like someone's jammed through a song, recorded it, and fucking gone, that'll do. There's a lot of that'll do on this record.
Without a doubt. I think what happened was they released that Stepping Stone in 1990, right? Mm-hmm. So that got them some interest. They started working with Terry Farley. They released Groovy Train in August 1990. Yeah. I think it was. That was a hit. That was, a top 10 single. Mm-hmm. And they got a groundswell. They got a load of probably Enemy and Melody Maker coverage off it. And they were, we need to release an album on the back of this. Rushed it through as fast as they could because they needed to have something while the wave was still carrying them forward.
Sure.
And they got to a point where, okay, well, these songs are the ones we have. We need to put this out. I suspect that's what happened.
Quite possibly either that or everyone's so fucking addled that this stuff sounds great.
Well, yeah, that's also... And they probably... Mate, it was 1991... You stick a fucking huge drum beat over something, they probably thought it sounded brilliant.
Well, it's what they call the CGI effect, isn't it? I say what they call, it's what I'm calling the CGI effect.
Right.
When you first see Independence Day and it looks amazing. Sure. And now you go back and you look at it now and it's like, oh, that looks like shit. Yeah. That whole thing, your ear, because it's new, it sounds good.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah, and then you go back and you go, oh no, that was terrible.
I see why they did that and it's really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely true.
See also new metal.
Well, quite. Yeah. Well, yeah.
All of new metal. Anyway, right. Okay. So we mentioned Groovy Train just then.
Yes. Okay.
This is track number 4. Groovy Train. This was obviously the big lead single.
Indeed. Right. I think hopefully everyone who's listening knows this one because this was big. We'll play a bit of this. That's a very memorable guitar intro there.
Super, super simple.
People will go, like, straight away, you're like, I know that. And this was very catchy.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's
really
definitely
catchy
catchy.
too.
This is the big indie dance floor song.
Oh, definitely. Whenever I was going to indie clubs, probably 91, 92, this was everywhere.
Yeah. This had long legs as well. I mean, you know, I was hearing this in '94.
Oh, totally. It was one of those ones like The Charlatan's the Only One I Know, and James Sit Down, etc., that carried through.
The interesting thing, this listening back to it, because I say I'd have probably liked this at the time.
Yeah.
I got nothing from this on a re-listen.
Oh, really?
I don't.
Left you cold.
I don't think this has aged well at all.
Okay. Interesting. I will agree, I don't think it's aged well, but because I had such a relationship with that at the time...
You're nostalgia.
I got nostalgia on my side.
Yeah, see, I expected to. I was like, because, going into this record, I was kind of looking forward to hearing this. I thought, okay, well, this certainly won't be as bad as some of the other stuff we've had.
Sure.
Because, it's, indie and it's, kind of, kind of little counterculture.
Fresh.
But I'll be honest with you. I mean, like, I was thinking, okay, well, I got to track 3 and I was like, I've not really liked these.
Yeah.
I particularly disliked a couple of them. And I was expecting, okay, well, this one this will be a high point. And I was like, no, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was like, no, I don't like this at all.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah,
I wonder, do you think it would have been
I
different?
don't hate it, but I don't have any affection for it whatsoever.
I see. Oh, do you think it would have been different if they'd put Groovy Train as track 1, and you'd gone in on that, and so you're instantly okay? I'm back there. Then it'll take you down with the other stuff.
I don't know.
Or do you think the first 3 have led you to go, oh bugger?
I mean, possibly. I don't know, but I mean. No, I can't. No. I won't say why now, but
okay. You don't. You think it's an objective?
Yeah, I just don't think there's enough to the tune. It's it's got that kind of like that hooky kind of catchy little bit to it.
Yep.
But it doesn't give any more than that. It's once it starts, you kind of got the chorus and. So you got the verse and then the chorus.
Yeah, yep.
And it gives nothing else. There's nothing else to that song. There's no memorable middle 8 in it.
No.
There's no, it's not like I can't see myself kind of hitting that beat where I'm really gonna be dancing at that and enjoying myself.
Yeah.
In the same way that Charlatan's track. I know anyone I know. Yeah, I never loved it at the time, but it instantly puts me back and it puts me in a happy mood for that.
Sure.
place.
Yeah. No. I remember when we did that episode.
Yeah.
You were like, okay, no, this is the one I remember. I like
and
it
this
still.
it's a great song, but because it's well put together and stuff. And I just
that's a much better song than this.
Yeah, but and that's the thing. I think this is too slight to be anything other than.
I can't argue with that at all. This is almost novelty.
No, well, exactly.
This is almost like novelty indie.
Exactly
really.
That. This is. I put this in the same category, not as bad as, but I put it in the same category as like that Candy Flip song.
Oh, I see. Right.
You know, where it's like, okay, this is something that you can do. It's something that's, I mean, I've got plenty of skeletons in my musical closet for stuff like this, where it's just, like Dog Eat Dog.
Oh, of course.
Like New York hardcore and stuff like that. It was novelty. It was like kind of mixing hardcore with rap, and I was bang into it like a couple of years after that. I look back at that now and it's mostly terrible.
Sure. I mean, now you're saying the Candy Flip thing. I remember this being on a compilation album, and I think it was just called Rave or Rave On or something like that. And I've found out since that it was not a hugely influential compilation because it was songs that everyone knew already. It wasn't introducing new stuff to anyone, but it was a collection that a lot of people had. And it was a little snapshot, right? And it had Groovy Train on it. It had an Spiral Carpet song that I can't remember. But it also had Northside's Shall We Take a Trip, which is the one that's like LSD, that novelty. And I think it had...
Did it have a D-Mob featuring Gary Heisman? We call it Acid.
No. It was all indie rather than rave, is the thing. They called it rave, but it was all Manchester indie. And it had other kind of lightweight, very poppy indie tunes of the time.
Yeah.
I think it also had a Stone Roses track and maybe a Happy Mondays one. But there were it was definitely more weighted towards the lighter end of the whole indie spectrum. And so it probably it does. That you're right that it's lumped in with that side of things rather than anything cool. This is not cool.
Oh no,
it was fun at the time, and I had a great time dancing around to it and singing along. But yeah, it was never cool.
Nah.
I'll tell you, if you want to see not cool, watch the video for this, because it is outrageously bad.
Is it on a white background?
No, it starts off with a sunset in Ibiza and some people dancing like bears in the foreground,
right?
Like in silhouette. But then the bulk of it, so it cuts away, and the bulk of it shows the whole band at a fairground in Southport, going on a train ride, mostly like Groovy Train, and it's driven by an actor from Brookside.
Oh well, fuck
I know. And then they're miming along and they're singing, and they also got a little bit on the beach and this sort of shit. It's dog shit awful, and they are by furlongs the worst acting band I think I've ever seen.
Wow.
They look so uncomfortable to be on camera. They can't mime. They probably think that they're doing okay in their dancing and, faking a drum beat, and it's terrible.
Wow, you've seen Spice World the movie.
I have not, but...
Have you not?
God, no. Why would
How have you not seen that?
Why would
Just accidentally.
Well, lucky me.
Well,
There's still time, I suppose.
Well, we'll put it on the curriculum for the...
We'll link it on here. I'll have to watch it.
Yeah.
We'll do a show on it.
Oh, fuck off. We're
Whatever. We're probably going to have to... I think we've got 2 Spice Girls albums in the 90s we're going to have to do.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah.
And that'll be fun.
Also, in terms of the video, we'll watch it on YouTube, and there is a comment on the YouTube video. It just says, the farm always looked like their mums dressed them. And I was like, yeah, you're absolutely right. The fashion in this is... I mean, it's so bad because it's 1990. They made it in.
Yeah.
B, it's so bad because it's the farm.
Yeah.
And it's also bad because they are trying to be this kind of proto-scally band. But there's the t-shirts tucked in nicely to their trousers, hair slicked down to their head, really gelled down, tight Fred Perry tops. It's true.
Go away, boys.
Oh yeah, no, totally.
Go
They should have known better by this point, but obviously this is the image that they were going for. But we'll link that on this week's social medias. Have a look at that, mate.
Well, look, that's the first 4 tracks.
Yeah.
Let's take a brief break now and go to where we take a look at this week's albums.
Absolutely, let's do that. Okay.
So what kind of week have we got here, Krister? Is it a busy one?
Fuck, mate. This is one of the worst so far. There are a couple of new entries in the top 10 albums, so let's go through that first. At number 10, we've got George Michael's Listen Without Prejudice. Number 9, Alita Adams' Circle of One. Number 8 is a new entry. Your favourite.
Yeah.
And mine. Morrissey, Kill Uncle.
Cunt off.
Yeah. I can't remember if that might have been his first solo album. I'm not sure.
Don't care. Let's not grace that prick with any other time.
Right, he's in there. Number 7, Chris Isaak's Wicked Game. 6, Elton John's Best Of. Number 5 is Best of Blondie. Number 4, a new entry, 808 States XL.
Okay.
So we talked briefly about them whenever we looked at In Your Face single. And I do remember this album coming out. My friend Tim, shout out to Tim.
Tim.
He had this album and I think recorded it for me. And it's absolutely got its moments. The singles I think are fantastic. It's got Cubic and Olympic, and it's got In Your Face, and there was another single afterwards, which was...
The Only Rhyme That Bites!
Well, fucking right, mate. I love that.
Yes,
Actually, I think that probably is on the album. They must have included that.
I would have thought so.
But I do remember thinking it was good, but not great.
Okay.
It was absolutely one of the first big dance albums, I'm sure, that came through in a very cool way. NME would have been behind this, whereas they wouldn't have been behind a lot of the cheesier dance stuff, Two Unlimiteds, etc.
They were behind the fucking farm. Let's not.
Totally. But in terms of the dance culture they got behind, it was stuff like this, and then Orbital whenever they came through. It was that sort of thing. One of the first ones I would say that they probably championed. Actually, speaking of which, then the next one, number 3, is the KLF's White Room.
Cool.
Yeah, new entry at number 3, which is a good high entry for that, especially because it wasn't really an album of any of the singles, was it? It was.
I can't remember what was on it.
Well, I don't think any of the single versions of the singles were on it.
Okay.
I think they were that much of a dick, as you'd expect from the KLF.
Sure.
And so I suspect people bought it going, oh, well, I liked 3am Eternal.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling that this was an album of more weird versions of their singles that have been released. So I don't think it was a the one that the public were expecting, but it still got number 3.
I mean, I heard this at the time. I heard the record. I think my mate Lee Vincent had it.
Yeah.
Someone I knew had it.
Yeah.
And I listened to it, I think, at the time, but I've got no memory of it, really.
No, this is the thing. I loved the singles. Don't remember particularly enjoying this album.
No, I think it was a bit too nuanced for me at the time, probably. I probably didn't quite get it.
No, and maybe it's the sort of thing that if you're off your face on a particular drug, it's amazing.
Yeah, maybe.
And then number 2 is Chris Ria's Auberge.
I've heard that.
Yeah, indeed. And then usually I would say that these are the albums that were released in this time period. But again, this is another one that was only for 1 week.
Yeah.
The time period is the 10th to the 16th of March in 1991. And I went through my lists of what was released, and there's actually 0 albums that came out apart from this one.
Wow.
I have nothing to offer at all. Albums.
Well, I mean, look, so far this is a story of 1991 to us to a degree.
Yes, definitely.
And if you're with us and you stuck with us and you're getting a bit tired of there being some of these records, trust us, we're with you.
Yeah.
What we'll say is we've been having we had a little production meeting earlier, and there is some really good stuff coming later on in 1991.
The second half of 91.
Yeah,
there are some fucking classics coming through.
And some of them aren't number 1 albums, but what I think we are going to be doing is we're going to be putting some specials out. I think we're going to be doing some specials about some records that we do feel pretty passionate about, because as much fun as it is to slag some of these records off, that's not what we
why we want to do this.
That's not why we want to do it. We want to talk about stuff that we enjoy, and we talk about stuff that we love. So, I think we might put together a little audio montage of a couple of the records that we may be speaking about now.
This motherfucker, yo, taking out all you commercialized ass niggas, and we on this laid back track, and we doing this one kind of smooth.
Hope you enjoyed that.
And I'm looking at Krister's looking at me now like, you fucking prick, Dave. Now I'm gonna have to do that. Yeah. All right. Look. Well, let's crack back into.
Yeah, indeed. We'll get back into the album.
So track number 5 is called
Higher and Higher.
It's another. I mean, it's probably a live drummer, but it sounds a lot like a machine, doesn't it?
Well, look, this one, I looked up because I kind of do a sample search on a lot of these.
Yeah.
And I was very surprised at this. I didn't recognise it at all, and still don't. I don't know if you will or not. Those fucking panpipes, though. That's a dreadful idea. That just sounds like flared up, and that's never good.
Oh my god!
It's just.
I mean, how do you listen back to that and go, yeah, that's the take I'm going to use?
I have no idea.
He literally sounds like an animal in distress. It's like something's been caught in a trap and it's dying slowly.
Yeah. And the lyrics are probably, for me, the worst so far on this album.
Well, there's a lyric in here that goes, I didn't want to sing you a song. And I'm like, well, at last we're on the same page. Because I didn't want you to sing this.
Yeah. But song in inverted commas there.
I'm just listening to this and I'm going,
singing inverted commas.
This is the biggest selling record of the week.
Yeah.
Fucking how? Even by 1991 standards, this is fucking awful.
Yeah, but I'll tell you why. It's because no one had heard this song. That's why they're like, if this had been the internet times and you got a sneak preview of some of them, no way this would have been number 1.
I mean, this is like a band that's been together for how can no one play?
Yeah.
This is just I mentioned this before. This is a shit jam. This is something you put together, listen back to the next day, and go, "Oh, there's probably nothing in that." This is not a song.
No, it's absolutely dreadful.
This offends me on a fundamental. Do you know what, man? I said to you before recording, I struggled. I always listen to these albums at least 3 or 4 times.
You did, yeah.
And I couldn't make it through this more than twice. I could not make it through this record more than twice.
Twice is pretty good going.
Look, man, at this point, I was starting to be like, oh, is it fucking worth doing this?
Right, yeah.
You know, should we just change the format of the podcast? Because I can't. How much of this can we do?
No,
know.
you're right. You're absolutely right. I will tell you the sample though for the drums and that little kind of doodle bit. Mm-hmm. I'll play this. I don't know if you'll know it because I must admit this is one of our favourite acts. I don't know this album. I didn't know this was an album. Here we go. So that's obviously there's your sample, and it's like they've just taken that wholesale and based the beat and that little bit around it.
Is it Gang Starr?
It's Gang Starr.
Fuck, you can hear it's a primo production now.
This is off their first album, No More Mr. Nice Guy.
Yeah.
I don't know that album at all.
I'm aware it exists, but I've never listened to it.
Right.
It exists in the same way that fucking first Pantera album does. Do you know what I mean?
Right,
it's
okay.
like,
Ministry.
it's one of them. Yeah, it's a band finding its sound before it.
Right, yeah. It was from '89, that album.
Yeah.
And obviously, I guess this is one of the things that Terry Farley has brought. He's brought a little bit of knowledge of that kind of the hip hop culture coming in. He's seen this sample, used it. I would never have. If someone had said to me, "Oh, you know, there's a Gang Starr sample in that Farm album," not a clue.
Yeah,
Not a
no, I
fucking
mean,
clue.
when I heard it in isolation, and this sounds like a primo beat,
Okay.
but not a good one.
No, it's not. You can tell. I mean, I've not listened to that Gang Starr album at all. That
No,
doesn't sound like Gang
I
Starr
think
to
I've
me.
heard it years ago.
It's all right.
But I don't ever think of it in the pantheon of Gang Starr records.
No, absolutely. And I suspect they don't play any of those. Well, they obviously don't today. They don't play any of those songs. But I bet you they didn't play any of the stuff off that whenever they were at the peak.
No. Much in the same way as you didn't hear much off of The Posse when NWA played live.
Well, yeah, certainly not.
Yeah, you weren't on the Straight Outta Compton tour. There wasn't a lot of Arabian Prince.
No, funnily enough.
In the Panic Zone, Panic Zone.
No. But this, to me, is the low point. I think this is the worst one so far. I do
as well.
Yeah.
This is on the second listen to this, I skipped through this.
Right. And it's 4.5 minutes, but it feels much longer than that whenever you're listening to it.
Yeah, it
because
feels more like
actual
4.5
song,
years.
The actual song is done by halfway through. And then
What
it just
song?
keeps. Well, true. But it just keeps on going. There is the remix of this on the Spotify album, which we're not going to discuss the remixes. The remix is much better than this version because there's a James Brown sample in it. That's that.
I mean, it just couldn't be any worse.
Well, this is very true, actually. All right, well, let's please move on from
Track
that.
6.
Yeah, track 6, Don't Let Me Down. And this was a single. This was the third and final single from this album.
Don't remember that at all.
No.
House piano.
That,
God, I was so 88 to like 92. I got so sick of this house piano.
it was everywhere in the chart.
Oh, wasn't it? A little bit of variation in the breakbeat there.
Tiny bit, yeah.
Is there?
That indie dance shuffle just come back to haunt us. I mean, listen to these. This looks like my day. To myself, I'd often say, the winds of change are here. Don't give up. Don't have any fear. Fuck me.
Look, right. Just trying to be positive in this one, right?
Yeah.
I've written, I can see this being fun at a festival if you're obliterated on pills.
I've got a little note at the very bottom. It starts with the words terrible shit. But then I do say that I bet the fans at shows love it because it sounds like a sing-along.
The problem for me, across this song particularly,
Right.
and reflecting about none of these songs go anywhere.
This is one of the worst examples of that because there is one verse and one chorus, and then they do the same verse and the same chorus again. They didn't even bother writing a second verse.
No.
I think they got bored.
I mean, I can see why.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm
But
bored.
it doesn't go anywhere at all.
There's no sign of songwriting here.
Yeah.
Maybe the point is, have a repetitive beat, something that people can dance to solidly, right? Okay, and that's fine. But it's not memorable.
It's not memorable, and there's
no drops.
No. Honestly, it sounds to me like they wrote the verse one and chorus, forgot to do anything else. It got to release, and they're like, oh crap. Well, can you just repeat that? Just do that bit again and stick it out as a single. That'll be enough. It's so basic. This really is.
Yeah, done with it.
The video for this is even worse
God.
than the video for Groovy Train because this was, like I said, this is the third one, and they'd obviously had the success with Groovy Train and All Together Now in the meantime. So this was the single they were going to drop before the album, just before the album came out. They actually spent a bit of money, and it is...
Did they spend it
It's so
wisely?
embarrassing. Oh, my God. So the theme that they've gone for is Roman times.
Oh, good.
Yeah, and so they're all dressed up in togas and gladiator stuff.
Toga.
And at the beginning, they're all kind of... They pop out of, behind a wall and go, I am Spartacus, because the album's called Spartacus. They're trying to push that. And someone else comes, another member of the band, the keyboard is like, I am Spartacus. And like I said before, they cannot act. They are embarrassingly awkward to watch. And then Peter Hutton, the singer, he's done up in a kind of a gladiator outfit. He's doing his scally dancing in what is essentially a Roman kilt and miming awfully, just awful, while the rest of the band sort of pretend that they're doing things in the background. It's mind-numbingly bad. And Frankie Hard pops up for some reason.
Well, from up Pompeii.
Well, indeed. I don't know. I suspect that's where the budget went.
I would
Because
imagine
tell
so.
you where it didn't go. It didn't go on the blue screen effects.
Yeah. I got thrown out of my local Tesco Express the other day for swearing.
Did you know?
I did, yeah.
What did you say?
I was just swearing in there, but I just don't do any business in there because the local kind of more indie one, they don't mind it if you swear in there. So I go to my Spartacus.
Oh, no. Oh, I didn't see that coming at all. That's blindsided me. You cunt.
Yep.
Oh, no.
Now, I want to make it clear for anyone that's listened to this and knows that I'm a stand-up comedian. I don't do jokes like this in my set. I do these jokes purely to fuck with Krister because he started it a few episodes ago.
Oh, my God.
This is. If you go back and listen to our Elton John episode,
Yeah.
Krister started this, and I refuse to be beaten.
I feel physically beaten by that one.
You should.
Well, I hope you're happy with yourself, Fensom.
That's woken waffles up, and he doesn't look happy.
No. Surprising.
Yeah, it's weird. Isn't it?
Yes. Well, I can't. No, I've got nothing else.
Track 7.
No, wait, hold on.
Oh, you got more?
I'm not sure. Have I?
Surely you haven't.
Oh no! Just the lyrics again in this. Don't ever let them get you down. Don't ever let them push you around. It's like that is directly out of your first ever songbook.
Oh, mate,
Terrible.
I would have never allowed that in any song that I wrote.
No. Okay.
And I
and
wrote
that
a
was
song
the
called the
fucking
VD song.
You're a poet, my friend.
Woke up the other morning, face down and some sick with a motherfucking headache and a pain in my dick. I woke down on my groin. It was worse than I thought. Got some fucking fungus growing on my scrot. Medicine cabinet, quick as can be. Poured on half a gallon of TCP. It burnt like hell, but did nothing else. The thing is growing bigger while I burnt my shelf.
Amazing.
When I searched my shelf, and then it had like a little course, but it went it had irritations, lacerations, treated by creams and vaccinations. Yeah, I've had it all, but it just got worse. Afflicted by a throbbing green pus looking cuss. What?
Wow.
I was 16.
I know. Well, and that's your excuse. These guys aren't.
Yeah.
Yeah. However, that's still probably better than anything we've heard on here so far.
Of course it was.
Yeah. Shite. Total shite. Do we move on?
If anyone wants to remix that, by the way, I wish we had that kind of listenership.
Oh, Collis listens.
I'm fucking Collis. I was in bands with Collis. He's used to my shit.
Yeah, true.
Anyway, right. All right, track number 7, Family of Man.
Right.
Jingly jangly.
This is proper jingle, isn't it?
Yeah, sub Stone Roses.
Yeah. There's something whenever the main guitar riff comes in here. It reminds me of something. I'm not sure what it is. I mean, that just sounds like Stone Roses again. But this bit here.
Oh, it's Since You've Been Gone.
Oh, it probably is. I had my Sharona, but I think it's Since You've Been Gone. Yeah. Right. Okay.
Join the family of man, Mr. Policeman.
Yeah. What the fuck, man? This is
Mate.
dreadful.
He's got a big tall hat.
A big black hat.
Mate.
What's that about?
Look, as anti-law enforcement screeds go, this isn't exactly fuck the police, is it?
It really is not.
I mean, it's not even the bit about riding horses in fucking in Sound of the Police.
Officer.
Your officer from overseer. You need a little clarity. Check the similarity.
Thanks,
They
Chris.
both ride horses. I love that.
That's amazing.
Yeah, man. It's
Absolute
look,
crap.
I've written down Watered Down Since You've Been Gone, with a tone-deaf Scouser cunting on.
That'll do, isn't it? It really is.
I mean, the guitar solo in this is fucking dog shit as well. It's like Fisher-Price, my first guitar solo.
Right, yeah. Because there haven't been guitars, so this is not an album for that. It's not an album of guitar solos, right? And then whenever this one came in, I was like, oh shit, why have you thought this was a good idea all of a sudden?
I mean, I was in garage bands in the early 90s under the shadow of grunge, and I heard this solo from every band in the scene. It's that I've been playing guitar a couple of things, and I feel like I can do a solo, and you fucking can't.
No, it's awful.
Do you know what I mean? You don't, you know enough to bend some fucking notes, and it's like, oh mate, it's bad.
Yeah,
it's bad.
They're not a band for that at all. So I don't know why they've tried.
Again, just hate this one. It's
the
whole kind of sixth form poetry. Join the family of man, Mr. Policeman. Yeah, why are you being so? Why are you being such a man that enforces the law? Why don't you just be with the people, man?
Yeah.
It's like, mate, live a week without them.
See how Liverpool gets on.
Yeah. Everyone's gonna have stolen your shit, mate.
I'm just sounding like fucking Boris Johnson at this point.
Yeah. No, you should cut the fucking. You should cut that out.
Yeah.
See how Liverpool gets on. Fucking says the man from Belfast. To the man whose home city is about to be engulfed in sectarian violence again.
Back to the good old days. God. Yeah, fucking hell. Yeah, this was another one, because this is a re-recording of... they originally put this out on the B-side of Stepping Stone the previous year. And then this is a re-recording of that. And this is another prime example of basically a dance producer coming in and just smacking a dance beat over it. Yeah. And not worrying whether it works or whether it fits or anything like that. Just going, there you go, there's another layer. That'll do. Send it off to the pressing plant.
I mean, that's the least of its problems, though.
Oh, it's also a bad song.
It's a terrible song.
And like you said, lyrics is just...
I mean, lyrics and sentiment.
I keep saying it. I feel bad keep saying that the lyrics are bad, but they are all the way through terrible.
It sounds like it's written by that man who does the fuck the tile freestyle in that video. Sounds of the DJ Smile.
Oh.
Sounds of the DJ Smile.
Yeah, no, that's a good fun, that one.
Fuck the tile. I'm the man who goes the mile.
Quality.
It's fucking brilliant.
The thing is, as well, that I am not primarily a lyrics person when it comes to music. I am the beats, the bass line, that sort of thing. You're much more of a lyrics person than I am.
I mean, to a degree, yeah.
But more than I am.
Yeah, for sure.
So the fact that I'm having such issues with the lyrics just shows it must be
but they're
worse
bad.
Than
I mean, yeah, but they're beyond risible. They're
they stand out as particularly bad.
I mean, they're cringeworthy. Embarrassing.
Exactly. It's embarrassing. I feel awkward listening to it and going, "Oh no, is that really what you've done?"
Are they still doing these songs live?
They are. Well, I don't know how many of the songs. They are still performing. They just played at that in Nebworth at some sort of 90s indie revival thing. They supported...
Is this the Shine On?
They do. That's coming up. They do the Shine On ones. I think this one was called Cool Britannia. They supported Madness in August on a couple of dates. So they've obviously still got the Suggs connection. They're still in there. And so they're still playing. I don't know if they do, all this. But here's the other thing, right? This was let's say their fifth album. But it was realistically their first, because it's the only one that people give a shit about. This one's straight in at number one. And then, for 1 week only, fell down. Their second album didn't even make top 75.
Nice.
Didn't make a ripple. Third album didn't make top 75. And then they broke up in 94 or something.
Well, good.
It's like, how do you go from being flavour of the month to the degree that you get a number one album?
Yeah.
How do you fuck it up so badly that you don't even make fucking top 75?
Yeah.
I look down, whenever we do our album rundowns, I look down the 75s to see if anything's come out that week. And there's terrible nonsense in there.
Yeah.
It's fucking Enough's Enough, that sort of stuff makes it in. Mm-hmm. The Farm's second album didn't make 75.
Well, that's because people bought this one.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It must be.
Once bitten. Twice shy.
But it also means that whenever they play live, surely they don't play anything off albums 2 or 3.
I mean, I don't know, man. Let's talk about the singles, man. Let's talk about anything.
Let's get away from the Farm for 1 second. Okay, so let's do top 10 singles. Okay, so this week, and again, we've only got 1 week, but there's actually quite a few, some changes and a load of releases that are worth mentioning. So we've got some stuff to go on here. Number 10 this week is Nomads, I Want to Give You Devotion. We've seen that a few times. Number 9 is Quartz featuring Dina Carroll, It's Too Late, which I'm not going to bother playing because it's dull as fuck.
It's too late, baby.
Yeah, it's that one. Ugh. With a really insipid slow beat behind it. Anyway, number 8 though, we've talked about these a couple of times.
Hello, you fool.
I love you.
Number 8, bit of Roxette.
Oh, this is a tune.
And I did not like this at the time.
Oh, I did.
Didn't at all. Something within me, I think I was starting to get too cool. And I was like,
I've seen photos of you around that time.
No.
You were definitely too cool.
I was determined that this was not for me. No. Even though you can't fuck with that as a tune. That's good, catchy fun. That's number 8. Number 7, Expansions Move Your Body. Number 6, Stevie B, Because I Love You, the Postman song. Number 5, The Source, You Got the Love. Number 4, Madonna's Crazy for You. 3, Simpsons, Do the Bartman. 2, Hale and Pace and the Stonkers, The Stonk. Moved up to number 2.
Did you see our friend John Myers posting about that?
I did.
Got it before I did.
Yeah.
He's so disgusted with himself.
Good.
He literally sent me a WhatsApp that just said, "You cunt."
Magic. I think he posted that on our Facebook page, and I said I can only apologise. He refused to accept that apology.
Yeah, fair enough.
I'm
man.
seeing him tomorrow night at a McCluskey gig, and I'm going to discuss nothing except the stonk.
Nice, wicked.
All night.
Yeah, just sing the lyrics at him.
Yeah.
Ruin his night.
Oh, I've only had time to get a T-shirt printed up.
Yeah, just while they're about to play Lightsaber Cocksucking Blues, just kind of just start whispering the lyrics in his ear.
Stick your red nose on your conch. And number 1 this week is The Clash, Should I Stay or Should I Go? So there you go. That's top 10. So there's a couple of new ones, but
okay.
not a lot of movement.
But new releases?
New releases, right. New releases or kind of just outside the 10. Number 12. Let's see if you recognise this, because I wouldn't have got it. I'm pretty sure this was all over MTV at the time.
Oh, hang on, I do know what this is.
I was totally unaware at the time as well.
Terence from Derby?
No.
Who the fuck is it?
Living Colour.
Oh, fuck, yeah, of course it is.
Love Rears
Love, fuck's sake, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I wouldn't have got that at all, mate.
Sorry, I'm so annoyed for that. Of course it fucking is.
Yeah, you know this one, but I just don't know this well at all.
There's so many people that I know that will give me a hard time about that as well.
I was going to say.
Yeah, fucking mate. Fucking Living Colour was such a great band as well. Such an underrated band, Living Colour.
I was just never in.
Go back and listen.
Yeah.
Go back and listen to that.
What was their other big one? There was this one and another one which is a bit more kind of upbeat one.
Yeah, fuck. What's it called? Oh my god, my brain has fucking gone.
Got Spotify right in front of me. Oh, Cult of Personality.
Cult of Personality, thank you. Yeah. Cult of Personality. What a tune!
Yeah, no, I do know that one. That's a great tune. But there you go. So that's number 12 this week. So that's for a band I don't remember anything about at the time. They must have had a decent enough following in the UK.
Oh, yeah, they were doing well, man. They toured big, yeah.
Did they support Faith No More?
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so yeah, they're doing well. Number 13. And you get this straight away.
Massive Attack.
Absolutely. Massive Attacks. Unfinished Simply. Number 13. Peaked at 13. In at 13 and then started dropping back down the charts. Never got higher than that in the singles. Which... it's kind of strange because it's such an influential song and it's such a big one of that time. But
so when's Blue Lines coming out? A couple of weeks.
Yeah, Blue Lines is out a couple of weeks after this.
Right.
Yeah, indeed. And again, it was never a number 1 album, which is weird.
No, it wouldn't have been though. It was the album that made them, but it was a bubbling under for a long time. Long tail on that record.
Yeah, definitely. And it has tendrils everywhere from then on out. And everyone cites it as a shift
without a doubt
in a sound
and it
from
absolutely
then on.
was. We've talked a little bit about the Wild Bunch and their reach before. Obviously starting a few years earlier with Cameron McVeigh and Raw Like Sushi being a massive worldwide hit.
Absolutely.
So interesting times.
Yeah, well, indeed. Well, Blue Lines was obviously the crystallization of those years of coming together. And again, I didn't really know it at the time. I knew Unfinished Sympathy, and I remember Safe from Harm coming out, but I wasn't that into the album when it came out that year. I missed it. It passed me by to a great.
I'll be honest with you. Like Blue Lines was never a massive record for me per se. It was a gateway into Tricky and Portishead.
Right, sure. A couple of years down the road.
Tricky and Portishead. Those were those big records for me, and then Mezzanine.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Mezzanine.
But it is interesting that we were into hip hop. We were listening to hip hop in '91, and Blue Lines has so much of a hip hop influence in there, and then started to influence other people in terms of production. But it passed me by.
But the thing is as well, I was, once I was into NWA and Public Enemy, I went through that period. It had to be hardcore.
Okay, right.
It had to be hardcore. I was listening to Two Live Crew as well, right? And Two Live. I always recognised Two Live Crew for what it was, which was novelty.
Totally.
Right. But I was 13, 14. Yeah. I was talking about sex that I most certainly wouldn't be having for some time.
Yeah, indeed.
But there was a level of kind of hardcore credibility. I wasn't necessarily that interested in what's happening in England at that time, because this whole other world had opened up of kind of South Central, and I was learning about just finding out about that. So it seemed so cartoonish and so interesting. So this whole kind of other landscape, and there was so much coming out of there, and it was so difficult to find if you were in kind of provincial England. Yeah. Just to try and tap into that and just going glimpses of it where you were, the stuff that was happening in front of me wasn't necessarily that interesting.
No, that makes sense. Okay. It was there and it was a landmark for a lot of people, but I guess not necessarily for you.
But I remember liking Unfinished Sympathy when it came out.
Fantastic, yeah.
Yeah.
And like I said,
Safe from Harm as well.
I remember Safe from Harm coming out. I remember liking it, but because it's obviously a much kind of gentler and slower one, I probably went, oh, that's more of what Massive Attack are like. I'll leave that for the time being because all this other shit's.
Sorry, I'm completely forgetting Protection as well.
It was a great album, totally. But yeah, this one over my head.
Yeah. And it's an album I've been, as LJ Defunct would say, retrospectively.
Yeah, indeed. And we discussed doing a whole show on Blue Lines because there's a lot to dissect in it, and its legacy. Yeah, it really is. But
we'll see.
I'll admit that I didn't know enough at all at the time about it. So
no. Me either.
Yeah. Number 40. So we have 12 was Living Colour, 13 is Massive Attack. Number 14 is Ride with their Today Forever EP.
Yeah, never a band for me, Ride.
No.
I mean, it's not my sound, and I've never, I know that I know that if that was your sound, they were like the holy grail band.
Yeah, sure. People love that. I don't really remember that EP. In terms of music, I remember it being in shops because the front cover is just the open mouth of a great white shark.
Yeah, I was going to say that must fuck with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
If for anyone that doesn't know, Krister is terrified of sharks.
Yeah.
So if you find him on social media, don't forget to tag him into your photos of sharks.
But that's my recollection of that one, rather than the music. There's that one. Number 19 is REM's Losing My Religion, which we're going to be talking about in much more depth next week.
Cool.
When we do
What a song that is.
Oh, it's amazing. Number 38 is LL Cool J's Around the Way Girl.
That's a great tune.
I did not know LL Cool J at this time because what I remember of LL Cool J was I Need Love. And I went, oh, that's terrible.
And actually, I was all into this.
Yeah.
Because, Mum said Knock You Out. The album came out last year.
Yeah, absolutely. No, he's had good shit, but it totally passed me by.
Oh, no, this album must have nearly made my list last year. It didn't make my list. I'm surprised. Maybe I should have had that on my list for last year because that is a great record. I loved that at the time.
Yeah. But that was 38 for that single anyway. Actually, number 37, just in front of it, is Vixen with Not a Minute Too Soon.
Yeah, well,
who knows? Couldn't tell you.
Shout out Chris Green.
Yeah, indeed.
He gets so annoyed when we shout him out for Vixen songs.
Terrible shit.
Sorry, mate.
I shout out Louise as well.
Shout out Louise.
Number 52 is Digital Underground with the same song.
Okay.
My mate Robert had put a couple of tunes on a tape for me. Digital Underground. I was like, they're okay, but they did sound a bit novelty to me. Looking back now, I'm more into them.
Yeah.
Do What You Like.
Humpty Hump.
Yeah, exactly. I just thought they sounded a bit kind of cartoony.
Yeah, I know what you mean. But yeah, there's an argument to be made: no Digital Underground, no Ultramagnetics.
Well, indeed.
So.
Oh yeah, for sure. I enjoyed them. I didn't think much of it at the time.
Yeah.
And I don't remember this one coming out.
I don't remember that track. But I embraced Digital Underground after the fact.
Yeah, that's fair. That's absolutely fair. Number 68, and I don't remember this, but Curve, the Blindfold EP. So they must have been starting to, release some stuff. Curve were a big-ish indie band the next year.
I saw Curve live.
Did you?
Yeah, like in...
Supporting someone or...
No, I went to see him. Someone I worked with at HMV back
right,
in the 90s had tickets, so I went with them.
Nice, good fun?
It was all right, yeah. I think I left before the end, but it was...
All right, well, this is... So, we're March 91, the Blindfold EP. That must have been one of their first... One of the early releases, anyway. The next one, going to be of interest to nobody except for Cy Sharp, is Cud with Magic, which peaked at number 80 this week. And again, that must be one of their very first ones as well. Then we have... I remember whenever we did the Jesus Jones one and we talked about Soho, and I said, can you name any other Soho single?
Yeah.
None of us could, obviously. Well, what we were missing was Love Generation, which peaked at number 85 this week. And I guess it must have been the follow-up to Hippie Chick, because this is the first time I've seen them since.
And last.
And I'm betting last. Peaked at 85.
I mean, they're probably not even getting booked for the Shine on weekend.
No. And then the last one I've got is peaking at number 91 is Sepultura's Under Siege.
Nice.
Yeah. And that must have been fucking early for them, 91. This is is it first album then?
They're one of those bands that had stuff earlier than you think.
Is that right?
Yeah, their discography has got a bunch of stuff in it that you've never heard of.
Okay. Well,
but, yeah,
including that single.
I mean, they put a lot of stuff out before they got out of Brazil. Do you know what I mean?
No, that would make sense, I suppose. Yeah.
Uno, dos, tres, quad.
Right. Anyways, that's all I got for singles, though. But there's quite a bit this week in singles. Thankfully, no albums, so thankfully we've got quite a few singles. It balances out a little bit.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
It's all right. That's not bad.
All right, let's hit the home straight then, homeboy.
All right. Track number 8. Tell the Story.
Okay. So we're in folk song territory here.
They're bongos.
Yeah. This isn't... This at least sounds like a song.
Right.
This is in the same territory as... this is like Billy Bragg, Frank Turner territory.
Okay, yeah.
People's folk songs.
That backing vocal sounds folky, doesn't it? That harmony. Yeah. Lunky lyrics again.
Well, yeah. I'm more forgiving of them in this context.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, again, this song goes absolutely nowhere.
No, that's fair.
It goes absolutely nowhere, but it is by far one of the minor offences on this record.
Oh, I see. Right, so you're like coming from a place of at least it's not as bad as some of the rest.
Yeah, I'm damning it with faint praise,
Yeah, sure.
but it sounds like a song that they've taken some time and put together.
Right, okay.
I don't like it particularly, but it's not as bad as some of the stuff that's just got fucking attacked on the house.
It's very well-meaning. Again,
I mean, everything's
well-meaning. Yeah, this is true. Their heart's in the right place. They just can't write a song. But this one is about seeing the city that you live in and you're in love with fall into ruin, with buildings starting to close and stuff just finishing.
Yeah,
childhood parks closing down, whatever it is, this sort of shit. But I can't feel their passion for it because I think this is a pretty passionless song. And again, lyrics like, you wait for the day, it must come soon to get you away from your feelings of gloom. There's no real hope and there's none on its way. You only survive from day to day. It's just such a
so it's just like if fucking Dr. Zeus had depression.
Yeah, it really is. So I can't get excited about it at all.
No, God, no. I mean, and if anything in what I said there conveyed excitement, then
no.
I apologise.
Yeah, true. Yeah, that's not what you're trying to do. No.
Track 9.
Track 9. Very emotional.
Follow up to So Emotional by Whitney Houston. I mean, wait till this fucking vocal comes in.
I'd rather not, but yeah. proper wazzy as well as people were wont to say in the day. More piano.
That is one of the wackiest scratches I've heard as well.
That's terrible. All right. Yeah.
Oh, God. So what we've got here is Cotton Eye Joe. With the same listless indie dance beat. Fucking lamest version of house.
Yeah.
With these fucking dog shit guitars.
Yep.
The same whiny fucking vocal, but just in a different fucking square dancey time. This is dog shit.
It's terrible. It's terrible. It is as if after... you know those memes where you go, I made a computer listen to, 1,000 hours of Lord of the Rings and it wrote a script.
Yeah.
If someone had made a computer listen to the rest of the Farm album and then pressed a button going, create a new Farm song, that's what we got.
Yeah. Rubbish.
Yeah. I keep saying it. The lyrics really annoy me on this. You make me happy, you make me smile, I want to be with you all the while. Like, oh God, that's terrible. And then the chorus is just very, very, very emotional. Don't you ever go away. Stay free, stay free, stay free all of your days. Mate, just
Look, I mean,
punch me in the face instead of saying this.
I mean, but as well, that doesn't make sense. It's like, don't ever go away, stay with me, but also remain free.
Yeah.
One or the other, mate.
Well,
one or the other. This is
one of the least romantic love songs I've ever heard.
It's toxic masculinity is worst.
No.
That's what it is. That's what it is.
I see.
You're right. Waffles has just turned. He's just lying square on his back, dick out. He's having a lovely time. Hello, mate. You all right? Right. Okay. So right. Well, last song, mate.
Yeah. I think we just need to get this.
What's
done.
this one called?
Well, this is the
Oh,
big single. This is All Together Now. And this was the second single. This was released just before Christmas in 1990, and it got to number 4.
Okay, and this was the one. This is about the Christmas truce in the Second World War,
Exactly.
First World War, sorry.
First World War, 1940.
About where kind of. And look, this is the only good song on this record.
I don't like this song.
See, I think this is great.
Do you? I remember you saying before we even talked about doing this. This was the one that you remember better.
Yeah.
As liking. I remember this coming out and not liking it.
Right, fair enough. See, for me, I just feel like the rest of this record sounds like they're trying to write this song.
Right.
And it's the studio outtakes of them trying to write this song.
Okay.
This is the one thing where they get those pieces of the sound together. It all comes together. It's got a good sentiment. It's got a big chorus. And it's
a proper anthemic.
Yeah.
It's a sing-along, chant-along.
Yeah, I think this is, and I thought this is why I said to myself, no, I don't think the way I feel about Groovy Train is because of the way I feel about the first 3 tracks. Because I'd gone through all of this album and I heard this, and I went, oh no, this is still a good song.
Oh,
this is
you did.
objectively, this is I can see why. Because I presume this single was out before this album came out.
Absolutely. This was the single was out in December 90, and the album came out obviously in March.
See, I can see why if you were into this song, you might go, let's check this album out because I can see you can be. I could see being really into this song.
Well, I was going to say this to me shows more than a lot of. Well, no, it probably is indicative of a lot of the albums we've done. But this is another proponent of singles selling an album. Before you've heard anything else, the singles sell the album, because if the public had heard other stuff, this would not have been a number 1 album.
And what is the thing?
If you've had Groovy Train and this, number 6 and number 4, so the public were into it, they released the other one, it only got to fucking 30 or something, but the album was directly after it, and then the album's a hit. I think that is prime examples of having singles on the radio and it sells your album.
But let's talk about this and to where it's led us in music, okay? Just culturally, because this is I think, an important touchstone into. This is part of what the problem was, because this is an example of the music industry not giving a fuck.
Absolutely. Well, they have us by the balls.
Well, absolutely, because that was the thing. You know, you get a couple of hit singles, you sold an album. An album cost however many thousands of pounds it cost to produce, which the record company didn't have to bear because that was all on the artist.
Yep.
Okay, that was all in the advance. And then a CD cost fucking like 6p to produce.
Yeah. And
you sold it for, at this time, what, £15?
14, 15, yeah.
14, £15, right? So, you know, the amount of times that people got fucking burnt by exactly this kind of sharp practice.
Straight up for years.
Okay. And that's why, like, as soon as people got a chance to fight back, they did.
Yeah, that's why piracy took off in such a big way, because everybody has, you know, multiple stories of going, oh yeah, this is going to be great. It's going to be, oh, the singles are the only good things on here, and the rest is beyond terrible.
And you know, and now we're in a situation where, unless you're a legacy act, or from a background where you've got enough money, or you get the very unlikely thing of really getting hooked up, it's so much more difficult to forge a career now. You know, we're in a situation where, you know, I know our musician mates are all up in arms about the amount of royalties it's possible to get from Spotify. And people aren't being paid, but you know, we've got to remember the industry did it to itself.
Yeah,
I mean, you know, you worked in the music industry.
Oh, totally, and it was, you could see it coming a mile away.
And, you know, we went through that thing. I mean, there was that moment where loads of our friends and the people we knew at festivals, were employed by the music industry. And over a 2-year period, none of those jobs existed anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, it was that quick, wasn't it?
It was absolutely.
Back end of the 90s, early 2000s, it just disappeared.
I'd say more in the 2000s. I'd say that the bigger sea change. It absolutely started whenever you could download a song off Livewire, or LimeWire, rather, whatever, rather than go out to a shop and have to buy an album. Yeah. But yeah, it totally flipped everything. It's interesting,
and we'll see where it goes. I mean, interestingly, that Tool record being #1 fucking everywhere, I think that says quite a lot. Actually, that's
sure. But
anyway, right, let's not dwell on that. But so anyway, look, we're
okay. Well, I just feel my reasons for not liking this. Right? I think it's saccharine. I think it's based on that whatever canon, Pachelbel's Canon and Gig in D major. It's based on that, which is a very nice piece of classical music, but I think it's an insipid sound to it, and I don't like the keyboard sound that comes in as well. That that bit, it just annoys me, the whole sound of that. And while it is absolutely, it's about a nice thing, and it's saying, you know, people came together from both sides of the trenches and on Christmas and had a football match. It sounds like, oh, fucking hell, mate. Yeah, but this is cod that feel good crap that I don't get on with.
I don't know. I think
other people.
I don't know if I go that. I think that overall sentiment altogether now in no man's land. Yeah. That's the right side of pop music profound for me. Yeah. Yeah. It depends. How much depth do you want from your pop music?
Oh, I don't need it at all. But if you're gonna try and do a song with meaning about an event that, you know, is such a resonant event for a lot of people, I think this bland and lifeless version of it is not the way to go.
I don't find this bland and lifeless. I find this the most epic song on the record.
Okay.
I mean, you know, epic is far too big a word for it, but in terms of its ambition and its scale,
right? Okay.
And I think more than anything, the various components, the dance music component, the indie rock component, the songwriting, all of that stuff kind of fits together nicely.
Okay.
I think this is a perfectly
I'll give
decent
you that
song.
It's obviously catchy, because if you say to me at any point, can you sing the chorus from All Together Now? Yes, I can. It's an easy one. I can just pick it out. But it doesn't make me happy.
I mean, it's by far and away the best vocal on the album.
Yeah, it's the most in tune he's been. This also, it turns out, right, from looking into this is another re-recording of an old song. It was released as No Man's Land in 1983. for a Peel session, right? And again, it's a very different sound that it used to be. So I'll play a bit of this. This is the original No Man's Land.
Oh, that's one of the worst things I've ever heard. That's awful.
Oh, I don't mind this.
Well, this just sounds like new wave funk.
Yes, it does, absolutely.
But that merging of the merging of the
Oh, I see, from the horns into...
that's fucking awful.
See, this has got a bit of balls and a bit of bite. In the way that Altogether Now, to me, doesn't.
I just don't think you can compare those two songs.
No, they're two different songs.
That's kind of sounds like Eating Rifles. Do you know what I mean?
Sure, yeah. But it's just it brought it home to me that they had done this and then they decided to do the Altogether Now version for the album, and that just disappoints me because that sounds to me like a more interesting song. And then they just dumbed it down, I think.
Well, I'm surprised we're as far apart on this song as we are. That does surprise me. I was expecting you to be like, oh yeah, here's.
I see.
But yeah, fair enough though.
Yeah.
Look,
this is going to make it difficult for the final choice,
isn't it though?
Yeah.
Isn't it? Okay, so I mean, look, right. I think that's a good way to end this record, but I am absolutely staggered that this was number one. Like,
me too.
In a way that I'm not staggered that. I mean, I don't know at this moment in time. At this moment in time, I don't know if this is possibly a worse record than the Enigma record.
I see.
Right. But I still think the Enigma one is worse for its pretensions.
Okay, yeah.
Right? And for the fact there isn't a song on the Enigma album that I like.
Yeah.
Whereas there is a song on this one that I like.
Okay, sure.
But...
Yeah.
But it's stultified. I mean, what I can't believe that this was number one.
No.
And I guess we've just discussed at some length why it was.
Yeah, exactly. It pulled the wool over people's eyes.
But, I mean, can you imagine? I wonder how many times this was returned in the second week.
Yeah, true.
I wonder how many people took this back the next week and were like, oh, this is scratched, mate.
Yeah.
That looks an awful lot like it's been scratched with a Stanley knife.
Yeah, quite.
I did that in the past.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah, I scratched CDs with a knife and went, sorry, this is scratched, took it
Oops.
back. Taped it. But yeah, I guess, I mean, we've got to put one song on the compilation. I'm presuming it's just going to be one.
Of course it's going to be one. I mean, yeah. There's nothing we agree on.
It can't be Hearts and Minds for me.
Okay. See, that's the one that I would have gone. That's probably the one I dislike least.
No, I hate. I don't
No,
like
you
that
didn't like it at all.
How Long is better for me than that one, but you didn't like that one at all. I hate Sweet Inspiration.
Yeah, no, awful. Groovy Train, you didn't like it at all.
No, I don't.
Higher and Higher is awful. Don't Let Me Down is awful.
Yeah.
Family Man's bullshit.
Yeah.
Maybe we should have done the remixes. Fucking hell.
Tell the Story,
is clunky as fuck.
Yeah.
Very emotional. Terrible.
And
I don't like Altogether Now. Right.
All right. It's all basically it's All Together Now or Groovy Train.
Yeah.
And it's a flip of a coin.
Absolutely flip it.
All right.
Right.
Hang on. I've got a coin in my pocket. £2 coin.
So we'll do heads, Groovy Train, tails, Altogether Now.
Okay. I'm going to flip it onto this book.
It is
Tails.
Altogether Now. There you go.
Together Now. There you go.
Right.
Thank fuck for that. I won. I won. All together now.
Damn it.
Right. Okay. Well, that was another fucking slog, man.
Yeah.
Next week's looking better though.
Next week, absolutely. We're actually going to start into a few really good ones. So next week we're doing REM's Out of Time.
Nice.
Which I loved at the time. I hope it's as good whenever I go back to it because I've not listened to the whole album in years.
I haven't listened to this album
Absolutely
since it came out.
Right, so I've got good feeling. And then, like you say, we might do a couple of specials. We've got some good releases coming up that aren't number ones, and the rest of the year there's decent stuff throughout. So I think we're out of the initial slump of 91.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be golden from here on in.
Well, let's hope so.
Yeah.
Wicked. All right. Well, thank you for joining us here this week. If you've got any feedback, as always, get in touch on the social medias. You'll hear that on the outro in Krister Greer's golden tones.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you for being here. And I've been Dave Fensom.
I've been Krister Greer.
I've been Ruffles the dog. See you later.
Thank you for checking out this episode of Pop Collaborate and Listen. It was produced and edited by us, for which we can only apologise. We're on Twitter at PCL Podcast, on Instagram also at PCL Podcast, and facebook.com/PCL Podcast. All of these, plus links to our various Spotify playlists, etc., are on our website, which is pclpodcast.com. Please feel free to get in contact via any of the social media or on pclmusicpodcast@gmail.com.